Okay, so here it is. This is the very interesting thing that I saw while I was watching the Sonic geometry video. So here's the outline of this God face that I noticed in the video, and then the red is outlining the masculine face, so it's pretty easy to see. Now behind this face, interestingly, is a feminine version of God, or the feminine side of God, or what's representing that, where you see this. It's very ethereal, and you can't barely see it, but it's this gray. You can see a gray line right here. The gray is something that I drew to outline her face. See, her nose right here is where this white dot, this white lighter part is, and then her eye would be right here, and then it kind of goes up. This is her forehead area right there, and then the crown, and you can kind of see her mouth, where her mouth and everything would be, and it's all interestingly, highlighted by the natural occurrences and elevation, which is pretty darn interesting. And then if I hadn't drawn this line here, actually you could see where let me actually go ahead and edit that. If I hadn't drawn the line, it's much harder to see the feminine, which is I explain later in a little more detail about the masculine and feminine sides of nature and how that works, but and how it coincides with what's going on the earth. But one side of the symbolism is that they are one, and so there really is this kind of I guess it's just a thin line between the two. You have the masculine here, the feminine here. You can barely see the feminine. That's symbolic on its own. And then you have, literally, and you really have to look closer and study it on yourself, but where the faces kind of fade into each other, and so that they're actually, in a very real sense, connected in one, as masculine and feminine mother / father God are. So that's just very interesting. So interestingly, when I change the contrast, adjust the contrast, it gives kind of a more a better well, you can see better, where the masculine and the feminine are, and you can kind of see it's like these two beings standing beside each other, where you have, like I said before, the face of God here, masculine God, and it's kind of funny because when I did the contrast thing, it made it look like more so that he has a beard and a mouth right here, and then a longer beard that goes down here, and then for the female, the white just kind of, here's her nose, and here's her eye, and here's her crown, and she's looking up where more, and he's looking downward, and it kind of just shows the contrast of where her face actually is. This would be her chin right here, kind of, sort of, and let's move the contrast back gradually, and you can kind of see where that was naturally before. So it's getting more. Oh, what did I do? Back to the normal state that it was in. Let me see. Where was I when I was in the normal state? Okay, let's put it back normal. And so it's still there. Oh, interestingly, there are also things, that are happening here with their faces as well, where the different expressions that they have are meaningful also. Where if you look, well, you might not be able to see it now. You kind of have to study it a little bit, but the masculine character is concentrating far more, being the lower energy, is having a far more kind of intense focus kind of face, concentrating on what it's doing, and the feminine face is kind of serene and relaxed. You know, kind of like a higher being, and it's kind of just very easy flowing nature up in the higher realms, and us down here with, you know, when we're meditating or trying to focus, there's a little more intensity that goes with that, you know, just due to the nature of our energies overall. And there's just so much happening here with this picture, with this thing that's happening. It's just like, I don't know though if you have to have guidance from higher beings to be able to see in the detail that I see it, because I see just different sides of what's happening. There's like a whole story going on here, and like I said, even their facial expressions, and I can look at the same face but see different expressions and different meanings and different levels of expression, and according to different circumstances. And I think that, I'm not sure if that's something that you need guidance for or what, so you might actually have to connect to source or connect to your higher guides and have them guide your eyes and guide your, you know, just guide you into seeing a little more deep into this. So when it comes to these arms, where the arms are going, it's a little harder to see that, because there is so much happening. And there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot happening. There's the arms come up here, and then there's all this going on here with the little witch face, and there's different stuff happening there. And then you have there's Satan, a Satan side of it too in these faces also. There's both God and Satan in the same face, which is also symbolic. And I'm sure there's a negative side to the feminine face as well. And all those arms are reaching up and touching this man. That I'm going to show you in a second. And you know, all of that is symbolic in truth, and not in this, you know, it's kind of widely accepted beliefs and understandings. But I'm not really going to get into all of the symbology of how that coincides with actuality. What is up, everybody? This is Breezy Vera, and today we're going to be, well, I'm going to show you something really cool that I noticed while I was watching this particular YouTube video. So the other day, I was watching this YouTube video, Sonic Geometry, the language of frequency and form. And you should definitely watch this video if you're interested in things like this. It is pretty, well, it's actually really good. It's very informative and really good. And basically, it is about, you know, just natural geometry, you know, just second and third dimensional geometry, and even sacred geometry, and the correlations between that and sound waves and sound waves and frequency, and just the other different natural phenomena and occurrences around the world and in the universe, such as, you know, physical geography and you know, time and measurement, and all you know, all, I guess, areas of measurement as we know it as human beings, and just putting that all together and showing this kind of mathematical and scientific correlation between those. So besides that, besides it being a cool video, while I was watching the video at around 1 minute and 59 seconds, I noticed one of the most amazing things that I've seen in a very long time, or at least in a while. If you look very closely, you might see it already, but if you look right now, you'll see that there is, in this picture, a face. Right here, there's a Cayenne Sea. This is over in the Middle East, and this down here would be the Arabian Peninsula, and we're going into Asia over here. And you know, you see this face, and it's just this majestic looking, powerful looking face here. And I guess it really depends on how you look at it, because there's actually multiple faces right here. It's kind of like that one picture that we used to see maybe in grade school. You may have seen it, or sometime when you were in school, where they have this I forgot what you call those type of pictures, but there's a you know, it says, you know, what do you see here or whatever, and you'll see like an old lady if you look at it one way, and then if you look at it another way, you'll see a young woman. And so it really is actually like that. But we saw the pictures before, and how I kind of outlined everything, where you see, you know, this face that could easily be this kind of I guess cliche version of what we think of as when we think of an image of God. God being, you know, a formed humanoid being. And so if you actually zoom out, if I zoom out a little bit, you'll see you know, his face is obviously here, and to see the God face, there's other faces, but if you see the God face, you have to start at the crown and then go down to his beard, the end of his beard, and you'll see it. And he actually looks kind of angry from that perspective, but you know, whatever. And so you'll see kind of like he has shoulders right here. Here's his shoulders around this area right here, and then his arms kind of go down here, and it extends upward, and then eventually you'll get to his hands. I can see it better at sometimes, and not as well at other times, but he has hands up here that are connected to something else, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But there's also something else going on here, where there's another side of God that is standing behind this first side, the masculine side, and there's a feminine side standing behind them. You have to block that to see her eye. But I'm going to show you what all I'm saying in just a second. But you saw the pictures earlier, so you know kind of what I'm saying. But so let's just focus on the masculine first. This masculine version, kind of cliche version of God, with his arm stretching up and reaching out and touching this very crude molding of a humanoid being that is coming out of the Arabian Peninsula, and whatever this is connecting here to the Arabian Peninsula, and it's symbolically showing, you know, God forming a being out of the clay or the mold or the dust. And I wanted to say, I should have said this earlier, but I don't agree with the conventional understandings of any sort of religion or whatever, and any of the ideological understandings of God or creation or whatever. But I do believe and think and have really seen firsthand that everything and all things are a representation of the truth of God in source and creation, and the dynamics and the story thereof. And so there are all these different levels of representation and symbology within everything, and the whole entire universe really actually is a gigantic mosaic that in every single detail represents the whole story and everything else. And so you see, I mean, it gets actually pretty complicated. I've been studying it for a few, I guess about a half hour now, and I'm kind of channeling and talking to God at the same time, and well, what I see is, well, one, this humanoid being, you can see that its head is here, and this is its head, and then it's kind of, here's God's hand on its back, it's going down its back, and it has a very broad back, and I guess its back, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but you can look at it going down like this, or you can kind of look at it being larger going down here. But it's, you know, it doesn't really matter which way you look at it. But you see it going down its back, and then its shoulder would be right here. See its shoulder, and then you see it going over there to his back, and then here's his neck right here under his neck, and then this would be his chin coming around here, and then his face. And then but then it gets kind of complicated because there's multiple faces here of different versions of humanoid beings in the universe. We're man on the Earth, but there's different planets and there's different types of humanoid beings on those planets, and so it's showing the creation and molding of and representing the evolution of all humanoid beings all over the universe. And so it would be much easier for you to see if you watched the actual video itself and looked for yourself. Definitely much clearer than the lighting I'm getting here with the camera. But so I don't know why it gets so dark up there. It's kind of weird. But okay, anyways. So but here with the face of the being, you can see different ones. For example, if you look at this kind of triangular area right here as being the mouth of the being, you can see there's an eye right here and then an eye right here, and it's and then there's some more stuff going on around that, and then there's another one, and it's very hard to see on the camera, but it's easier to see where you can see more of a man looking face, like we have here, where he's facing this way. It's like he's looking forward, looking this way. And I don't know why it's so dark up there. Let me see. Okay, well that didn't really help. Alright, so but there's like another man face about right here, and then there's other stuff happening too, where you have like I said, you see his hands going up here, but there's not just hands, but there's this energy, the clouds or whatever this white is. It might be snow on top of mountains, I'm not sure, but these clouds, they're showing an energy surging through God's arms and into his hands and into the back of this being, and it's giving him energy that is creating him and molding him. But also not only that, but it's creating like an energy field around him that's representing multiple things, actually, representing the evolution of intelligent beings in the universe, where this energy, the energy of consciousness, the energy of source, the force that propagates all evolution on every level, and causes us to through just perfect alignment and direction, ultimately evolving our consciousness and understanding. And so actually, literally, and again, it's hard to see with this camera, but you can see like this kind of auric field around his head. His head would end right here, and then you have this kind of extra extension right here. That might be confusing you guys as you watch it, because it kind of, you really can't see it very well here. But his head would end around here, and there's different shapes of what the head would be and what kind of being it would be. But there's this extra stuff right here, which is actually one that's representing evolution into higher sensory perception. This energy is going up here, and then it's showing kind of like, I don't know, just very I guess crude representation of the evolution into higher sensory perception, and then also you can see there's these little symbols that are occurring here. There's like plus signs and other little symbols that are representing information or evolution and understanding. And so so there's just a lot going on there, and again, you really have to look at it for yourself to be able to see it better, to see especially the higher sensory perception and I'm sorry, keeping my finger in the way, and the information. But then, even more so, I started talking about this other side of God, where you well, in truth, God is not a masculine being. It's not a purely masculine being. There's a masculine side of all energy in the universe, and there's a feminine side of all energy in the universe, and ultimately they're one. But there's a feminine being here in the back where. And I noticed it from the beginning when I first looked at this and saw this. I noticed it, but I couldn't tell what I was seeing. I could see these very kind of vague this very vague image behind the first being that I was seeing as being God, and then something else. If you look with God's eye, the masculine eye, and the feminine eye, you actually see another being in the center right here going on. That's kind of like this weird, kind of evil-looking goat head thing. But I'll get into that in a second. But the queen or this feminine side of God, Mother God, is actually it's very hard to see, and I had to be shown it by God. And I forgot to explain that too. That what I mean by that. But I had to be shown it so I can see how it's actually there's a being, Mother God, standing behind Father God, and literally her arms and shoulders and everything are kind of aligned with his. It's like she's kind of hugging him from behind and doing the same thing with the creation thing. And that's just symbology of Father, Mother, God, the whole source as one, propagating evolution. And so what I meant by God, showing me is I'm in the diasporic period, and if you haven't watched my other videos, you don't know what I mean by that. But the diasporic period being literally a place that I am in where Source God is my teacher and my it's kind of my guide right now, and it just has been showing me and teaching me through various means so many things. And an aspect of it is literally sharing my consciousness with Source on a whole nother level where it's just a part of every single thing that I do, and it can actually shift my sensory perception, especially my eyes, and the way that my eyes are focused, so that I can see just various things, and especially this super infinitely detailed mosaic that the universe is, and different things within that. And there's another aspect of that where it includes the higher fourth dimensional realm and the light in that realm, and it's hard to explain, but it includes that too. How you'll be able to see a lot more of what's going on here if you combine those the two, the light that you perceive here and the light that you can barely perceive in the fourth dimension, as far as most humans go now on the earth. But as we grow spiritually and our third eye awakens, we can see and absorb more of the light of the fourth dimensional realm. But anyways, again, this is feminine being. You have the masculine being in his crown right here. This is a masculine looking crown, this dark spot right here, and then feminine being has a feminine crown on her head, above her head, which is a C right here. And again, it's hard to see. It's very hard to see. You really can't even see it at all with this camera. But she is very ethereal looking and very hidden, which is because here on the earth right now we don't even the feminine side of God and the feminine side of energy period is kind of suppressed to a large extent. This is for the most part a masculine based energy planet, or a masculine energy based planet, and you see it with just war and conflict, and pretty much every single aspect of our lives, down to the technology and even the way men and women behave on the earth. It's all mostly masculine. And even the thought of Mother God is not widely accepted, not widely known, and it's hard to even comprehend, even to those of us who don't even who know about it. And who know about it. And so when you even me now, I know that God is both is an androgynous being, like most of the higher beings in the higher realms, are really all of them. But although God is androgynous, we feel mostly masculine energy, and when we think Mother God and we feel Mother God, there's a whole nother aura of energy that comes over us, and you can do it right now. Just feel that, what that's like. If you can even just cancel out the whole thought of Father God and just say that God is purely female, and all of a sudden you get this whole nother side of what it feels like of just life, period, and everything. And we don't really have that. The energy hasn't been anchored into the world at this time. But so again, another thing, and I guess you guys can't really see it, but I'll go to it anyways. Father God is looking down. You can see his eyes looking down. Mother God is actually looking up, and it's hard to see. But I wonder if it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, you can. Her nose would be right here. This is her nose. It's a very feminine looking face, and it's ethereal too. It's like her nose is right here, and then around this little curve is her mouth, or where her mouth is going down to her mouth, and her mouth is like right around here. So you have to kind of look at it like that. But it's a feminine looking face, and her crown is right here. It's coming off her head. But she's looking up because let's see. I guess that's kind of a long explanation. Feminine energy is, let's see, it's all about comparison, and so the feminine side of energy, compared to where we are now on Earth, would be the energy of spiritual evolution, energy that causes us to rise up in vibration, rise up spiritually, and ultimately ascend into the higher realms, and ascend while we're in the higher realms. The masculine energy is the energy that has us come down into the higher realms, and that lowers our vibration and lowers our energy and keeps us here on the earth. And so, the masculine is looking down, the feminine is looking upward. And let me see. Feminine and masculine. Yeah, I guess that's a good enough explanation. You can watch my twin flame videos and get more information on that, and I'll actually do a video on masculine and feminine energies to explain that a little farther, and I'll post annotations about that too. So here we go. There's so much other stuff happening here too. Like you can look at here and see this kind of witch nose coming off of here, and her mouth right there, and she got like this craziness going on up here. But I don't know what that's about yet. I'm kind of channeling and looking at this and getting all the information about what's happening here. One of the things I'm getting is that there is just basically an insane amount of symbology going on with the geography of the Earth, and it's telling the story of life on multiple levels. Let's see. I showed you the goat head thing. And there's all these different faces that go on in here, and there's other stuff too. So I guess I'll end it there as far as that goes, and maybe I'll let you just go ahead and look and see what you can see. But yeah, it's just something very interesting that I saw. So yeah, that's that. And if I catch anything else, I'll come back with some more. Like a lot. Very, very